Welcome to Friday's Flavor, a podcast where we take the pulse on New York business from New York business. Subscribe to support the movers and shakers, making you love New York. Welcome to Friday's Flavor, everybody. It's your girl JoJo from Schenectady, and we are here with Sabrina Houser of Capital CFO, based out of Saratoga Springs. She has been doing what she does for about 3 years, and she is hilarious. Okay, I've had several conversations with her, and I am pretty sure that we laugh more than we talk when
Agreed.
we have
Agreed. Because you crack
conversations.
me up and then you just end up laughing at how hard I'm laughing.
And
That's
it's
all of our conversations.
terrible cycle. We can't get anything done. We could never
No,
work together. Thank God
no,
for this.
thank God.
Oh man. So tell us a little bit about your background, Sabrina. What got you into what you're doing?
So I was the CEO and CFO for a local nonprofit for 20 years. And about 3 years ago, I started this company because I really felt and realized that there had to have been more people like me out there that were doing both, but shouldn't be. So I actually started the company while I was still running the agency. And because of that, I found a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs and people that were really starting up that needed our services. And then which is hysterical to me because I always thought nonprofits would be my niche. Um, and then once I resigned and the press release, hit about my resignation, the nonprofits did start finding me. I started feeling a lot more comfortable going to them too. But Capital CFO outsources your bookkeeping and chief financial officers for companies that need the experts, just not necessarily full time. So my clients need anywhere between 5 monthly hours and 20 weekly hours and everything in between.
That is the epitome of business, people. Find a need, fill the need. That's basically what you just described. You saw something missing in the market and we're like, I got you.
I got you.
I got you. Market is taken care of. I
I think
love
it's
that.
more I saw, oh my God, I'm exhausted and I shouldn't be doing both of these things. And I
Oh,
wonder if there's other people that feel like this.
and there were.
And there were.
That's so funny. What about let's talk about some of the core values. I love to talk about core values in any company, but I can't wait to hear yours because
Yeah, so
I've
I
never heard.
worked with a mentor and a really good coach, Chuck Reed, for a while, really trying to find my voice in the agency and kind of what sets us apart. And this was one of the first things that he asked me to do was really define what our mission statement is, and what our core values are as a company so that when I'm hiring people, can keep those core values in mind. And with every project that we do, though, that's kind of the guiding principles that
Right.
allows us to do our work. So the three things that we say is that we're a really strong and experienced team. All of our consultants are experts working on your books. The second is that we're the calm in the storm. So we're that calm force that you need. People come to us because they're like, God, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I haven't known what I'm doing. I don't know what my numbers are. And they feel bad about that. But nobody started their company to be a bookkeeper,
Yeah,
just this crazy fool. Um, so you're not supposed to know, right? So like we're the calm to bring you back to say, we've got this, we've got you. Even if it's going to take us a little while to get things cleaned up, we're kind of the calm in that crazy storm. And the third thing is that we're honest. We're trustworthy, which is what you want when you want people looking at your books. We're
yeah.
honestly going to tell you how things are going, if things need more time, less time, if we're able to work a little bit more efficiently than somebody that's been doing your books, then we let you know that right away so that you're not paying for services that you're not using.
That's awesome. I think honesty I mean, that's probably the number one thing that anybody worries about when it comes to their, chief financial officers, the CPAs that they hire is, are you a good person?
Yes.
Because I
Yeah.
mean, that's your whole livelihood that could be
Right.
destroyed if you pick the wrong
100%.
individual. It's
Yeah.
terrible. And it
Yeah.
happens. It's like, okay, so we talk about honesty and all this stuff because we have those values, but people, they are not they're not all like Sabrina. It's unfortunate and true. Not everybody has morals in business, and I don't talk to those people on this show. I like to talk to, people who are concerned about what they do, who have a passion for what they do, but not just a passion, but like they don't sleep at night if they feel like they did wrong by somebody. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's how
I'm that
I am.
person. Yes.
I just,
Yeah.
if I know I didn't go 100% for somebody because for whatever reason that I didn't do the right thing for them on accident or something like that, I mean, like, it bugs me. It bugs me. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
like a foot standing right here.
And not everybody's like that. So it's
Yeah.
awesome to meet other individuals who have that same, core value system of, I need to be honest with you. And I come from a sales background, and I know that there's sleazy salespeople, and you just have to be careful, because there are people who will sell you something that you don't really necessarily need. And I've actually lost business because I walked in, looked at the situation, and said, we're not the best fit for you. We're just not. You know what? And don't tell my boss I said this, but here's some people who are. Okay. I'm not supposed to give away business like this, but I haven't done this at Dirad, in case you're watching behind. I have not done this at Dirad. Okay, this is long ago.
This is pre them.
This is pre-Dirad. This is a different sales job. No, like for real though, thank God I was an independent sales contractor because they couldn't fire me.
There you go.
You couldn't fire me. Because if they found out, I probably would have been like, never sent leads ever. But I was really good at what I did, so I didn't, And I think that people see that. When people see that, honestly, when people see that you have those core values, and even if you're willing to lose that client for now, they will refer you to people.
Yes.
They will talk about you positively, which will eventually turn into a conversation that gets you a lead of some kind or something, in sales. I think it's a little bit different.
And the people you're referring them to will do the same.
Exactly. And that's the kind of reputation you want to build. Like, hey, you know what? They're so honest. They didn't even bother with me because they said, you know what? we're not the right fit. And
that's not what
lost
we do.
Business, and that's it. You know what I mean? And so I love your core values. What makes you guys a little bit different? I mean, from my perspective, I'd say that your whole setup of offering a solution that is part-time that kind of fills that gap, that makes you pretty different, I think. But what would you say?
I would say, so we are that boutique experience. All of my clients have direct contact with me. Since the consultants are working on their projects, either remotely and sometimes on site, but most are remote, they hear from us once a week. This is what we worked on last week. Here's our priorities this week. So they realize we're there, we're working it, we're doing the job. And then if there is an issue or a problem, or hey, I was expecting this and I haven't received it yet, those questions come directly to me, so that I'm working with the consultant to say, like, what's the holdup? What are we waiting on? And I'm kind of that go-between.
That's awesome.
So it's not just business development with me, it's also client management. I really hold on to my clients and make them feel like we're all in this together and it's a team working with them.
That's cool. Yeah, you kind of have that really hands-on approach. That's so important in 2020. Let me tell you, that is important in 2020, because I can't tell you the number of our clients who need their hand held right now. And it's totally okay. Like, call me 500 times a day. Okay, don't call me 500 times a day. Call me 5 times a day, though.
Maybe 5.
Maybe 5. I'm cool with 5. 5, I can still like. I'd still like you after 5. 500, I might start to dislike you. 5 is cool though. So yeah, I mean, that hands-on experience is so important in 2020. And
what else is flexibility. Like, not only am I flexible for the client, but I'm flexible for the people that work with us too. So my consultants tell me how many weekly hours they want to work, and then I fill those hours for them, and then we stop. So if there's somebody that just wants to do 10, 15 hours a week, okay, these are your clients that you can do 10 to 15 hours a week, and then we stop. When you want more, I'll fill more. If you want less, we'll figure that out. So I think it's like a win-win situation for everybody, that not everybody comes to me needing 40 hours. Some do, and I get them there. But yeah, some are just like, I, want to do this in between, or I want to do it while kids are in school, or, I don't want it to be all consuming, and they're looking for a little bit of balance in their lives,
Yeah.
which is why I started this. I was looking for some significant balance in my life.
That's so cool. What kind of, I'm curious, what kind of clients do you have? Like, what kind of businesses do you work with?
So most of our clients are mid-sized companies, and by mid, I would say they need somewhere in that like 7 to 15 weekly hours. We definitely work with startups and people that, might need 5, 10 hours a month, totally fine. And then nonprofits. A lot of nonprofits work with us because in a nonprofit, you're just held to such much higher standards than a regular business, and your entire money is constantly being monitored.
Always audited.
Always audited. And that has to be, an independent audit review.
Yeah.
So those books have to be very meticulous. You can't just say, oh, I didn't know. None of that matters.
Yep.
So grant management, separation of costs, making sure that you're not double dipping with your team, making sure that you're not paying somebody 130% out of 7 different grants. Like all of that stuff has to be taken into consideration. And then I use that nonprofit experience and that independent audit review, and I link that to my businesses. So even though I have some CPAs on my team, we don't do taxes. I want that to be a very separate, clean review of what my consultants are doing. I want a third party coming in and reviewing the financial statements that we're putting together, because it's one more layer of protection for my company, for my consultants, for my clients. It's just one more layer of, I trust our work so much, I want somebody else reviewing it.
Yeah, that's really interesting because you don't see that often. That's a different level of honesty right there, because most people would just self-regulate and take their own temperature on that. But when you're allowing a third party to step in.
And all-in-ones are great. Like, I'm not saying you can't or shouldn't. All-in-ones are wonderful if that's what you're looking for, but I made a very strategic decision to not do that because, again, of the nonprofit background.
Right. That's always been important to you. You worked in a non-for-profit before you did this. So you've kind of taken that experience and filled that gap in a really unique way too, because you have to be extremely meticulous when it comes to non-for-profits. My mom worked for a non-for-profit for, she was the executive director for like 11 or 12 years. And I remember her just telling me like, oh my gosh, Jolene,
It's a lot.
The audits. It's every year, if not quarterly. Your books have to be tight, and it's true. It's so stressful on a company or on any non-for-profits, especially because that's not what they're there to do, and they're there to do the charity work or to reach out to the community, to give back in a certain way. Like you were saying earlier, you don't go into business to be your own bookkeeper. You go into business because you love to do what you do. And this is something that I don't know if we haven't said this on every damn episode. We've said it on a lot, that you don't, and especially with marketers, when I sit down with marketers, it's a huge thing that people, when they get into business for themselves, they don't realize they can't just wake up and say, I'm going to be the best plumber today. You have to tell people about yourself.
Yep.
And you didn't get into it for that, but you have to be willing to collaborate with the right people to make that happen, because otherwise you're not going to get business. If people don't know who you are and know what you're about, then nobody's going to call you, my friend, and you're just going to be the best plumber out there that nobody knows about. So
that's no secret.
Same thing with the the bookkeeping. My gosh, and I've opened businesses. I know. The books, my least favorite thing to do. Least favorite.
Oh. Yeah. Everybody waits until it's the last thing on the list. It's always the last thing on the list.
How many people do you get around tax season who call you last second like, save me from myself.
Yeah, that's when things really start to open up, is like January, February, the sky kind of opens up a little bit. And, we definitely do cleanup. We're fine doing cleanup.
Yeah.
It would be more effective, efficient, and cost savings if they used us all year round, as opposed to cleaning up stuff that was done incorrectly and now needs to be undone. But we do it. We do it, and we do it happily. And again, like, I get it. It's not your jam. It's not why you were there.
But keep your receipts, people.
But keep your
receipts and call Sabrina. That's so funny. So a lot of mid-sized companies and non-for-profits, and you work from home, right?
Yeah, nice. I mean, COVID, who isn't? So at any point in time, you might see a little one run in. But yeah, all of my consultants are either remote or they're on site with the client.
Right.
And then during COVID, we probably only had maybe a handful or two that we were on site with. And we had to pivot a little bit with COVID. But since the majority of our clients are remote, pivoting was really easy because we knew how to do that.
That's
so
good
we
to
didn't
hear.
really, we didn't really have a lot of fixing during COVID.
Yeah, if you go back a few episodes here, people, you can listen to a few of the different business owners who have used the word pivot. I should probably tag it somehow. If I knew how to use YouTube, I would tag it. Look up pivot under my show. Okay, a lot of companies have had to make some drastic changes in how they do things, and I'm glad to hear that for you. It wasn't like this huge because it's been a big deal breaker for a lot of companies. And I work in telecommunications with Dyrad, and it didn't really affect us outwardly. Like, my job could always have been done remotely, and we always had the systems in place to do that, because that's literally what we do, is create remote access systems so that people can work from home and get their phone and everything right there on the computer. So it was nothing to move us remotely. But how has it been affecting you emotionally? Because I can tell you're like an extroverted individual. Are you going nuts like your girl JoJo here? I'm going nuts. I'm going crazy.
So I am actually not. I am crazy introverted.
Really?
Oh my God.
Maybe it's just with me. It's just with me that you seem so.
So this is what it is, Joe. I am also unbelievably attracted to my opposites. So all of my friends are extroverted. My husband's extroverted. Like, I am attracted to my balance, clearly. And I like glob onto them because, like, I don't know, your energy is just amazing.
That's so funny.
So how have I been responding? I love my family. I love them. I can't say it enough. I love them. And the first 5 weeks was so cozy and so like wonderful and warm. And then once I realized, we're in this.
They're not going back to school today.
Nobody's going anywhere. So I don't know if you can see my office, but my husband sits right there. The baby sits back here. It's a lot of family time. So this introverted mama is like, plus I didn't leave. Like, we really like quarantined.
You stuck with it. That's good.
We really, like, 3 months were just quarantined. I remember the first time I went and did like a drive-through through Dunkin' Donuts, just a 10-minute ride in the car.
Were you freaking?
I cried. Like, the quiet. And because the only quiet I'm getting is sleep. And that's not enough for this introverted mom.
No.
Oh, man. I go for runs and they come with me, which is wonderful. Can't stress it enough. I love my family. But it's a lot.
I won't take them. You're such a sweet mom. Dude, I won't take my kids on runs. Okay. I tried once. We maybe we're like a half mile in when the whining started. And I was like, you said you wanted to come with me, girl. Keep up. Okay. What are you doing? Oh, you're so nice. Do you slow down for him? I wasn't going to slow down. I was like, I'm out here to work out.
They're on their bikes. That's how we do it.
That's how
They're
they
on
keep
their
up.
bikes.
Okay.
Oh my
That was
God.
my mistake. That was my mistake. That was, you know what?
No, they
I'm
can't
going to
run
have
yet.
to retry, redo.
No, but it's
Yeah,
a lot.
that's a lot of time. It's a lot of time. That's how I've felt. Like, I haven't gotten sick of them by any means, okay? But there are moments where I'm just like,
I just
I lock my door to my office that I'm in right here. I lock the office door, and by like 3 o'clock, by like the 17th time that one of the three has pounded on my door, like, hey, I need something! I need something, feed me! And I'm like, you just ate breakfast. It's 9:30. You want to eat again. What's wrong with you? Is it lunchtime? How many times a day I get asked, is it lunchtime?
oh
I
my
don't
God.
know.
Oh my God, from 9:15 until 12. It's all we're asked.
They all eat breakfast at 7:45 or 8 o'clock. By 9 o'clock, they're asking me if it's lunch. By 10 o'clock, I'm asking myself if I need Jesus, a maid, or what. It's Jesus. It's Jesus. It's just it's a lot of family time, and it's not, it's getting a little overwhelming since it's felt like a never-ending summer
Never ends.
vacation that
Yes.
they've been on so far. And I'm telling you right now, girl, if Cuomo says that, if he suddenly decides that it's going to be online school for the next year or whatever, if it's going to be in September, they're going back to online school. That's it. I'm done. I'm sending my kids to Mexico. I'm not even kidding you. I'm not even being facetious in the least bit. I am going to pack them up and send them to my in-laws in Mexico City, and they're all going to private school down there. That's it, because they won't do it in Mexico.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, I think Italy might be doing better than the States COVID-wise, so maybe.
Mexico's doing fabulous. Don't anybody fact check me on that. Okay, I get my information from my husband, who doesn't really read. I'm so glad he doesn't watch my show. So I'm thinking that it's better there, from what I hear from my family down there, and I talk with them every week. I talk to the family down in Mexico, but like, I'm so serious. If they do this online school stuff, I'm done. I'm over it. No.
We were just talking about this again last night. How will anybody go back to work? I have an 8-year-old. What am I going to do? Am I going to say peace out for 10 hours?
That's my concern for the entire economy, is like,
Right.
What happens?
Open up whatever you want. If kids don't go back to school, nobody's going anywhere.
That's it. It's like, what does it do to the workforce? Do we
Right.
now we're suddenly going through a second wave without,
Right.
but it's a second wave of the economy, not necessarily COVID,
Right.
which is our hope. We would hope that the COVID kind of disappears, but what are we going to be going through economically if all of a sudden everybody has to stay home with their children all day, or find a daycare, or find a solution? What do you do? It's like, you can't. What do you do? You hire somebody to homeschool your kid for you? Like, is that
Who is the person?
I don't know. It's beyond me, and I don't want to think about it.
I don't either.
That's why I just resort to, I'm shooting them to Mexico. That's my solution. Drop the kids off and let's see you up, baby. I'm so serious. They spent 2 months in Mexico about 2 years ago. They went to Mexico for 2 months over the summer, right? They and I had this very ignorant look, because I'm not from Mexico originally. I speak Spanish and stuff, and I'm very familiar with the culture because of my husband. But I had this very ignorant look that, like, oh, Mexican schools can't possibly be good, right? And then I sent them down there for 2 months. They came back speaking perfect Spanish, and I was like, holy crap. They didn't even like take a class on it or anything. They just speak in Spanish now. It was really great because they had to. They had to. There was nobody there spoke. None of them speak English except for my nephew, and he speaks English like the funny people in movies who speak English. He speaks English. Okay, it's funny. So I really wanted. I'm so serious. I looked into it, and they have amazing schools. They're actually outperforming New Yorkers, and I'm like, aw. How stupid was I? How stupid was I? Send them to Mexico.
Your in-laws will take 2 more, right?
Oh yeah, they're kid fanatics. It's so weird. Like, when the reason they went to Mexico is because my father-in-law retired, right? He retired, and they had my husband went and had a big party and everything. And we asked him, what do you want as a gift for your retirement party? And he was like, I want you to send me my grandkids for the summer. And I was like, is this guy on crack? Are you serious? When I retire, the last thing I want is to be around a bunch of snot-nosed kids. I love my kids. Don't get me wrong, people. I got 3 kids. Love them. Other people's kids. I love my nephew. I got a nephew.
Your grandbabies, because they're not going to be annoying to you. That's what I hear.
That's what I hear too. I just think I'm a different breed of person, though.
Reward for parenting.
That's what my mom says. That's what my mom's, you know, she's like, it's just different when you're a grandparent. It's just different. And I'm like, I'm different. I'm gonna tell you right now, the moment I retire, I'm never gonna retire. I don't know who I'm lying to. I'm never gonna retire. I know myself. I'm so weird. Like, I have been working since I was 11 years old, people. That's it. I can't. I just don't imagine myself not working. So whatever. But when that happens, I will tell you one thing for sure. I'm not going to volunteer to take 3 children under the age of 10 for a whole 2 months and be responsible for them.
Whole 2 months.
That's not my idea of a retirement gift. That's his idea, though. So I can almost say with certainty, they'd be like, yeah, dame los güeros, también, más. They'd be totally fine. They'd be like, yeah, 2 more white kids. Why not? We got 3. There's room for 2 more. My kids actually aren't white. I'm sorry, guys. My kids all came out like my husband. They're tan. They're gorgeous. Mine are very, very, very white. I could pass your kids for mine. I can't pass my kids for mine. I could pass your kids for mine. I've literally had old people at the beach ask me where I adopted my daughter from once. That's how dark my kids are compared to me. And I was just like, heaven? They thought Guatemala. I said heaven. They were confused. It's old people. That's okay, though. We forgive them. They're not racist. They just don't know that brown people and white people are now, it's okay for them to get together.
It is.
It's no longer 1922.
No.
They were cute.
Fine.
But yeah, no, I'm so serious. I don't know if it's going to affect the economy, the family structure, or what. I just don't know what the consequences would be if we end up, having the kids home all the time in homeschool. I'm telling you right now, I don't think it was good. I don't think it was effective for educational wise.
Oh, I agree.
I don't think that they learned very much, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the system, and I understand they're trying to be lenient and they're trying to be understanding of the fact that people were suddenly sent to work from home and that these kids weren't prepared for it and that parents weren't prepared for it. I worked with my 7-year-old as much as I could. I kept up on her as much as I could. She passed 4 out of 10 of her classes, and that's it. So she failed 60% of the classes that she was taking online. Failed 60% of it, yet they passed her to 3rd grade.
Wait, and you got grades? We didn't even get grades.
It's not that they got grades. They got a pass or an IE in I don't know. I don't remember what it stood for, but it was like an IE was like it wasn't passing. It was like it was not, you didn't complete the work properly or something like that. And so she got 6 IEs and 4 passes. And I was just like, and at the top though, it says, but you worked really hard, so you're moving forward. And I was just like, why would you do her that disservice? She clearly failed, in my point of view. She failed 60% of her courses. She is not prepared for 3rd grade, especially if we're talking about homeschooling again. How are we going to play catch up with her? Like, right. I can almost see if they send them back to school in September, and with the idea that we know everybody had a rough last 6 months of their previous school year, so we're just going to play a big game of catch up for the first 2-3 months, really, really hardcore. But if they have to do it from home again, what is going to happen to somebody like my daughter?
Right.
And she tried. She really did. She tried hard. It was just, she's one of out of 3 of my kids who struggles in school. And so it was not good for her. It wasn't.
No, it's not a good system even for those that weren't struggling. Plus, it's just not, they don't want it. They want to be with their friends.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Sit in their house. And I get it, safety first. I really do. I understand, like, protect everybody, and I will trust whatever comes down, but it doesn't mean I won't be sad.
Yeah. I'm really hoping that all of us folks who are working from home, like Capital CFO, get the opportunity to send our kids to school and get educated correctly, because that just makes doing our job easier. When not because we want people to babysit our kids all day. It has nothing to do with that. We've been at home happily with them
Exactly.
for like March, April, May, June, July, 5 months now, and none of us have blown our lids.
Nope.
Maybe they have. Maybe they have. We just haven't heard about it because there's a lot of HIPAA laws. But I think a lot of companies that are running remotely right now, that they kind of have to do a lot of pivoting to just work around that. The fact that they're home with their kids all the time. So that's interesting. I mean, good luck with that if they go back to school online again.
Yeah.
Oh, Cuomo. I pray for you, my friend. I pray for you, Cuomo. I do. I wonder about you.
Whatever he comes down with, because he's doing it factually, but my goodness.
He's doing his best.
He is.
It's a random situation. I don't think anybody expected it was going to happen.
No.
Oh, man. So last question.
Give it to me.
What is your number one piece of advice that you would offer a hopeful entrepreneur watching the program right now?
All right, I'm going to give you the biggest mistake I made.
Cool. I love mistakes.
The biggest lesson I learned: don't do it all at once. Set up very small strategic plans for yourself. So what am I going to focus on for the first 3 months, the next 3 months? Because if you go into it trying to do it all, I'm going to work on my marketing and my website and increasing my clients and hiring my team and building a budget. And if you do all of it gets watered down.
Oh, yes.
And none of it gets done well. And everybody starts to feel the disorganization around it, because that is very overwhelming and it's really disorganized. So break it up into chunks and give yourself time of like significant time. Like, this is what I'm going to do for my first 3 months. This is what I'm going to focus on next, so on and so forth, and build off of it. Like build each one. And if you have to go back and fix a few things, like if you spend a month on the website and then maybe in 7 months it's, needs some changes and updates, okay, that's fine. But if you're doing all of it and all at once, everything gets watered down and everybody feels the disorganization. Your team, your clients, the community, all of it.
Absolutely. I love that piece of advice. And I almost at first was going to mistake it for don't do everything yourself, which I've talked about before. But you're right, breaking it up into little bite-sized pieces versus going, I have a 5-year plan. I'm focused. No, you're not. No, you're not. You can really only see a few feet in front of you as it is.
If you break it up, you can start to really figure out, I don't know how to build a website. I need to go get somebody to help me do that. Or, you know what I mean? Because you have the space to think about it that way. When you're doing it all at once, you just feel like, I'm in it, I'm going to do it, I know how to do it all. And you need to give yourself that space to be able to process things appropriately.
Great advice from Sabrina Houser of Capital CFO. If you are looking for a chief financial officer, somebody to help fill in those hours, this is your lady right here. She's fabulous, easy to talk to, honest, genuine, everything I love about people, she is. Thank you so much for being on, Sabrina. It's a blast talking to you, as always.
As always.
And happy Friday, everybody.
Hi, everybody.